If you are new with us, we started a conversation around the book of James. We are in week 3 of this conversation of working our way through the book of James. The book of James is, by most scholars agree that he was the brother or, the half-brother of Jesus. That's not like a for sure thing, but that's, what most people think. As we've been going through this book, it starts, James addresses a lot of things. But if you've ever read through this book, what it can feel like sometimes is, it can feel like it's a whole book just about here's what to do. Here's a list of things that you need to do if you follow Jesus. And if we read it that way, we miss the whole point. And so what we've been doing as we've started off the series is Brendan led us to help us understand the backdrop in how we need to be approaching this book. That it's this dynamic of grace and joy. That when we read through this book, what we need to recognize is that first, it is all about God's grace. And the way Brendan talked about this is that grace is how God leans in. That what we got to recognize is that God already leans in. No matter what you're going through, no matter what your circumstances, no matter your situation, no matter how much or how little you believe in Him, God has already leaned in. And our response then is to receive that. And when we choose to lean back, the result is joy. It's leaning in and leaning back. And so James is this book of what it looks like, hey, once you have received that God has leaned into you, that there's nothing that you can do to change God's love for you. Once you have received that, okay, here's maybe some ways to lean back in now. And that's what we're reading through as we read through this book. And it starts, James addresses this reality that the people that he's writing to, they were suffering. They were being persecuted because of their faith. And James helps them understand that, hey, even in the midst of suffering, even in the midst of these trials that you're going through, you can lean back in and experience joy. Last week, Brendan then led us to the next part where it talks about, hey, if you lack wisdom, which, hello, we all do. If you lack wisdom, lean in. Ask God to give you more wisdom, and He will. But it says, don't be double-minded about it, right? Because there's a reality that the wisdom of God is oftentimes different than the wisdom of the world. And so what it means is to lean into God and see things the way He sees things. Then you can receive the wisdom of God. Today, what we're going to be looking at is the next passage in James, and it's more of like a practical application now of this wisdom. But what James addresses is something that we have a lot of tension around when we talk about it, especially as Americans. There's a lot of felt tension around this particular subject, and we're going to go straight into it. So yay! This is going to be really uncomfortable for all of us. Are you ready? Because the tension we are going to enter, it's not the sex talk, so don't worry about it. We're not doing that today. We're not doing that. What we're going to do today is we're going to lean in. We're going to talk about the tension around money. Who's excited? Who here enjoys talking about money? Who's a sicko like me? Yeah, enjoy talking about money. I don't know what it is. I love it. I like these conversations. But here's the deal. I also understand that talking about money can be really weird, especially in a church. That's just how it is. But what I've also, just in my own experience, when it comes to like our awkwardness around money, I think sometimes what will happen is because we feel awkward about talking about money, to try to make ourselves feel a little bit better, we start to believe things about money that just aren't true. And it all kind of stems from kind of this awkwardness around talking about money. So for example, how many of you have heard, or you've even said it yourself, money can't buy happiness? Money can't buy happiness. Yes, it can. Are you kidding me? Yes, it can. Listen, the money that my house bought me, I'm really happy with my house. I'm really happy about it. When I can afford to buy really good food, that makes me really happy, right? That my money can buy me warm clothes on a day like today, that buys me a lot of happiness. Money can absolutely buy happiness. What it cannot buy is fulfillment, right? It can't buy you fulfillment. All right, let's be clear about what we're talking about here. Or how about this one? When we start to get really like Bible-y, right? We say things like, money is the root of all evil. No, it's not. In fact, that's a misquote of something Jesus said, right? Money is not the root of all evil. What Jesus said is the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. Not all evil, but some of them. And it's not money that's evil. Money is benign. Money is just an object. But it's how you relate to money that can lead you into all kinds of evils. And it can also lead you into all kinds of really great things as well. Right? You see, when we get this awkwardness around money, it can lead us to believe some weird things. And the passage that we're going to read today in James has led to all kinds of weird beliefs around money, especially in the church world. So we're going to tackle this. We're going to engage in this together, and you're going to feel the tension. You're going to feel the awkwardness of what this passage says. But you know what? We're going to engage it today. And I hope at the end of this time, we can come out better together. You ready? We're in James chapter 1, starting at verse 9. And this is what James says. He says, believers who are poor. So hang on. He's talking about believers, okay? So like followers of Jesus. If you're here, you're not a follower of Jesus, first and foremost, thank you for being here. That's just awesome. I love that you would risk coming into a place like this. I'm so honored that you would choose to be here. Also, this is to believers. So if you're not a believer, you're off the hook for everything that's about to be said, all right? Lucky you. The rest of us, this applies to us. So here we go. He says, believers who are poor, which means you can be poor and believe in Jesus, right? Believers who are poor have something to boast about, for God has honored them. And those who are rich should boast that God has humbled them. They will fade away like a little flower in the field. The hot sun rises and the grass withers, and the little flower droops and falls, and its beauty fades away. In the same way, the rich will fade away with all their achievements. So pretty straightforward, right? Right? Achieving is bad, being rich is bad, and being poor, being broke is good. Right? So let's go do that, all right? Stop achieving, stop making money, and let's celebrate. Let's boast about being broke. All right, let's wrap it up. We good? No, right? Of course that's not what James is saying here. But unfortunately, the church, oftentimes us as Christians, we will read something like that, and it will lead us to believe some really unhealthy things about money and the invitation that God brings us to around money. And so we get these underlying kind of feelings sometimes of like, hey, go and make money. That's important, right? Get a job, make money, but don't get too rich. Don't get too rich because then you're a rich person. Being rich is bad. Being rich is evil. Don't be rich, right? Or go make a difference in the world, but not too big of a difference. Because if something gets too big, it's going to become corrupt, and you'll become corrupt. So go make a difference, but not too big. And we have these weird beliefs about who we are and how we relate to money. And there's this underlying lie that is kind of through all of these weird beliefs. And it's the lie that actually James is trying to address here. It's the lie that we believe that our worth comes from our wealth. That our worth is measured by our wealth. You see, what James is actually talking about, he's giving us wisdom. He's using the rich and poor as an example, but he's not talking about rich and poor. He's not talking about wealth. What he's talking about is where we find our worth. And the world has a really clear system for this. Let me bring out my ladder. You see, when it comes to your worth, the world makes this really simple for us, really, really clear, right? And it's the money game. If you are rich, right? If you're rich, if you climb the ladder, if you get enough money, if you are rich, well then you have the most worth, right? If you're rich, you're up high, you're honored, people look up to you because you have the most money. And if you're poor, right? If you're poor, well, then people look down on you. And we don't say that out loud, right? So instead, what we'll do is, oh, yeah, poor them. Oh, man, yeah, they live paycheck to paycheck. Oh, man, they can't pay. poor them. You know what? I have money, so I will come down and save them because I have that much worth, right? Look at me. Look at all the good things I can do. And we play this game. And you know why we play this game? Hey, if I have more money, my value is more, but my worth is more, but if I have less money, then my value is. Do you know why we play this game? Because it's easy. It's really easy. The rules to this game are defined. The rules to this game are really clear, right? If you have money, you're the winner. If you don't have money, you're the loser. There are winners and losers in this game, and we like winning. So we play this game. And at the end of the day, the person who has the most money wins. That's how we play this game. And here's what's fascinating about this game, is that you don't need to have the most money in the world to win this game. You just got to have the most money in the room. If you're the richest person in the room, then you're winning at this game, right? Because I now have the most worth. And here's the deal. You know what's really nice about winning in this game? Because there's perks to winning in this game. That if you are winning in this game, the perk is it doesn't matter what those people have to say because they're going to talk poorly about you, right? Because you're big, bad, and evil. But you know what? If I'm winning at this game, I can just buy away most of my problems, right? If I'm uncomfortable, right? I don't know, life is kind of uncomfortable. Okay, well, depending on how high up the ladder I am, I can just get myself a different house and be more comfortable. I can get myself a new car. Something as simple as I can just buy myself a new coffee maker and get some better coffee, and then I'll feel better because I can. Or am I bored? Well, if I'm bored, I'll just get another streaming service. If I'm bored, you know what? I'll just go on another vacation. I'll take another trip. If I'm bored, I'll just buy another ticket to another show. It's no problem. I can be entertained because I have the wealth to do that. You see, in this game, if I'm winning in money, I'm winning in life. Now remember, it's not about the money. It's about where I'm finding my worth. Right? You see, in this game, if I'm winning in money, I'm winning at life. But the problem is, when that's the game I play, I eventually start to realize that this game is like a flower in the field. It will eventually fade away. That my money will eventually go away. In this life, it might go away because I spend it all. In this life, it might go away because the stock market crashes. In this life, who knows? But best case scenario, this goes away when I die. Because there's nothing that I can take with me after I die. It's temporary. It's like a flower in the field. When we play this game to try to find our worth in this game, it's temporary. It does not last. This is why Jesus tells us in Matthew chapter 16. He says, "And what do you benefit if you gain the whole world and lose your soul?" What do you gain if you win at this game and yet you found your worth in the wrong thing? Right? Because in this game, no matter how far up the ladder you make it, it will eventually go away because it's temporary. But you see what Jesus does? Jesus invites us into a different game entirely. Thanks, Grant. You see, what Jesus does is he invites us into a different game. Rather than fighting to climb the ladder, how far up, how far down, he invites us into this space that says, you know what? It doesn't matter who you are, how much or how little you have. He invites you into the space that says, listen, every person who stands with me has equally unsurpassable worth and value. That when you step into a relationship with Jesus, when you find your worth in him, there's nothing you can do to gain more worth, and there's nothing you can do to lose your worth. That over here, your worth is settled. It's done. It's not like a flower in the field. There's no winners and losers in this game. That you are simply declared unsurpassable worth by Jesus. See, in this game, You don't have to earn how much worth or how little worth you have. Over here, it's simply a gift. It says, listen, because you are a child of God, that's all that matters. You have unsurpassable worth when you stand with Jesus. And in this game, you see, why James tells us that over here, the poor are honored is because they're no longer the losers in the game of life. And why are the rich humbled? Because they're no longer the winners in the wrong game of life. That no matter how rich or poor you are, you can boast about it. Because your worth is not based on your circumstances. Your worth is not based on your wealth. And your worth isn't based on something temporary. Now that sounds really freeing, doesn't it? You see, the platform, the thing that Jesus invites us into, it is so freeing. It is so beautiful. It's easy to look at that and go, well, of course that's the life that we want to live, until we realize that if I want to play that game, it means that I have to step off the ladder that I have maybe been climbing my entire life. And if I step off here, does that mean everything before was just a waste? You see, here's the tension, is that Jesus invites us into an entirely different game, that you cannot play the ladder game and the platform game. You can't do it. Jesus himself, again in Matthew 6, he says, no one can serve two masters, for you will hate one and love the other. You will be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and money. You cannot try to find your worth in both God and money. Because at some point, they are going to be at odds with one another. And you will have to pick and choose. You will love one and despise the other. Because man, does it feel good to be a winner. Man, does it feel good to win at this game. But you see, so many of us, what we try to do, especially as followers of Jesus, is we try to have one foot on the platform and we try to reach over to the ladder as well. Because we want to play both games, right? I want to have unsurpassable worth and value. I want that. And if we're honest, I also kind of want the perks of winning at this game too. It feels kind of good. And for others of us, actually what happens is we know that we can't win at this game, so we change that game. And for some of us, what we do is we go, well, I want to have unsurpassable worth and value. I want to stand over here, but you know what? I've made a lot of sacrifices in my life. I know that I'm not the richest person in the room, but that's because, you know what? I stepped into the nonprofit sector. Look at the hard choices I made, right? I know my family kind of hurts, because of the job that I have, but man, I'm making such a difference in the world. I'm helping people. Look at me. Can I have the applause? And we find our worth in this game. But you see, what Jesus tells us and what James is trying to help us understand is that you cannot play both games. It doesn't work that way. You see, James is addressing this because humanity throughout all of history has been playing the money game. We have. Because it's clear, it's easy, it's defined. But you know what? This ladder thing, the money game, it applies to so much more than just money. I mean, where else do we try to find our worth in? We play the game of, well, how high up the org chart can I get? Right? Because the higher up that I am, the more people look up to me, the more worth and value I have, the more people applaud for me, right? And it feels so good. I want to win at that game. And so if I can't win any further at this job, I'll jump to the other job where maybe I can climb a little bit higher. And we keep trying to find our worth there. What about on social media, right? Well, hey, if I just get enough followers, if I get enough subscribers, then maybe I can climb it up just a little. Look, oh, wow, I have so much more influence now when we play the ladder game. Some of us, we do this with being the smartest person in the room. Oh, well, I'm more educated. I have more training. I have more experience. I'm the smartest person in the room. And when somebody else steps in and, well, they don't have the training I have. Oh, isn't that cute? It applies to so much more than just our money. And you see, at the end of the day, when we play the ladder game, it will always require more from you. It'll always require more from you. You have to keep climbing. Climb higher, right? Earn more. Do more. You've got to measure up. Don't fall behind. Because if somebody else gets higher up on the ladder than you, well, then now you're lesser. This game will always demand more from you. And you can spend your whole life climbing this ladder only to realize that it can never give you life. Because that's what we're really talking about here. It's not just about where we find our worth, it's about where we find our life, our meaning, our purpose, our existence. What are we even on this planet for? Where are you finding your life? You see, what Jesus doesn't do is he doesn't say, well, I'll come with you as you climb the ladder. I'll just make sure you do it humbly. Jesus invites you off the ladder entirely and invites you onto a platform where he says, listen, your worth and value is secure. Period. That's it. You don't have to play the game that's temporary. You don't have to try to find your worth and value and how many applause you get and how high up the ladder you climb. You can just rest and be settled here. Now remember, money is not evil. Climbing the corporate ladder isn't evil, right? Having social media followers isn't evil. It's our relationship to these things. When we can be settled and find all of our worth, all of our life in Jesus, it's only from that place can you start to have a real healthy relationship with these other things and step into the spaces that Jesus might invite you to step into. That you're not trying to find your worth and your value and your life in these things anymore. You can step into these things in a healthy way and say, okay, Lord, how do you want to use me to be a blessing to others? If you want me to step into this space, let's go. It's not good or bad to be rich or to be poor. This is about where do you find your worth? Where do you find your value? You see, when you step onto the platform, when you step into the invitation of Jesus, you can stop asking temporary things to carry eternal weights. You no longer have to look for something that will fade away to give you life because you've already found it in the giver of life. This is who Jesus is. This is the invitation of James, is to stop finding our worth over here and to find all of our worth, all of our security, all of our life in him. Now this is the invitation that James invites us into. And this isn't well, I made the decision once and now I'm done. This is an every single day kind of thing. Because when you are walking through the trials of life, the suffering of life, the hardship of life, it is always going to be tempting to start playing a new game. So the invitation, what I want to invite us into as we kind of wrap up today is, especially if you are a follower of Jesus, I want this week, whether it's today or tomorrow or just sometime during this week, here's what I want to ask of you. Would you take just a minute and just honestly answer the question, where am I finding my life, my worth, that isn't Jesus? What is that for you? What is that for me? Where am I trying to find my life that isn't Jesus? And as you do, pray through that. Invite Jesus into the conversation. Ask him what he thinks about that. Let him reveal some things to you. And then respond. What is that? Do you have an unhealthy relationship with money? Right? Do you have an unhealthy relationship with your job or your lack of job? Do you have an unhealthy relationship with your status among the people in your family or your neighborhood or your peers? Where are you trying to find your worth and value that isn't Jesus? And would you take a step in trusting him? the source of life, to find all of your life in him. As we close, I want to also say this, is that there are some of you here who maybe have never known what this life is like. That it sounds really nice, it sounds really good, but you've spent a lot of your life, maybe all of your life, playing this game. That maybe you've never stepped into a relationship with Jesus. And what I understand about this game, because I've played it and I keep playing it, what I know about this game is that it is exhausting. But life in Jesus is a place where you can find settled. You can find rest. You can find peace. Because it's the space where you can just simply go, I don't have to do or be anything other than someone who God has leaned into. All of his grace, all of his love, all of his life is already on me. And it's from that space that you can now step into life. If you've never said yes to following Jesus, to beginning a relationship with him this morning, then that's a step of faith I want to invite you into. To start finding your life in Jesus. Start finding your life in him. Because he doesn't ask this of you. He simply asks you to receive. And then we're going to walk together in this. You get to do life with him. So this morning, if that's you and you've never said yes to following Jesus, I want to invite you to pray a simple prayer and begin this walk with him. And it's not a long prayer. It's very easy. It's, Jesus, I receive your life and I give you mine. That's it. There'll be plenty more time to have other conversations with Jesus, but maybe that's the starting place for you. Jesus, I receive your life and I give you mine. If that's you this morning, you can pray it out loud, you can pray it in your heart. But if that's a step of faith you're going to take today, would you share that with someone? Come find me after the service. If you came with somebody else, share that with them, because we want to celebrate with you. We want to walk with you, because like Sharon said, we are a community church. We do this together. So, would you pray with me? We ask the Lord what he would do in us and through us. Jesus, today, whether it's the first time or whether we've done this so many times, today, Lord, we say we receive your life and we give you ours. Lord, would you help us feel how lifeless the ladder game really is? Would you show us the spaces that we're trying to find our worth and value in temporary things? And Lord, in the only way that you walk with us, that you do this with us, would you meet us in that gentle kind of way? Help us to trust you more, to take a step closer with you, that we would find all of our life in you today. And Jesus, from that space, we are listening. We're asking you to invite us into whatever areas that you want us to step into, with our work, with our wealth, with our life, with our friends, with our neighbors, with our kids, our parents. Lord, we found all of our worth in you. Would you help us to love others well now as well? Jesus, we thank you for all of who you are. In your name, amen.